This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with that prize guy. I'm delighted to be joined with one of Ireland's newest professional boxers, Kian Hedderman. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm very good. How are
Um,
you?
I am fantastic. You must be over the moon at the minute, Kian. Obviously, I think I spoke to you in the National Stadium for Jay Burns last show, and there was sort of no inkling that sort of this was coming. I know someone had put out a false rumor before you were turning pro, but you're now a professional boxer. You must feel you're now obviously going to make your professional debut in just under a month's time, but you must be over the moon at the moment.
Yeah, yeah. Look, everything's finally done. It takes a lot of time to turn over with like some medicals and stuff, and it's very hard to hold it in. And but I knew this was it was only a matter of time before this would happen, and now we're here, and thank God, and everything's done now, and the medicals are done, and I'm ready to go. I'm only 4 weeks away from my debut that we only got news on last week, so I'm very, very happy about this now.
It's as life, isn't it? Life can hit you very very fast sometimes, and obviously from one minute you're thinking of going pro to you're then turning pro and you've got a debut news and you're going, crikey, when you look back in a month's time and you'll go, it was only a month ago I turned pro and there I'm having my debut. Things can move very very fast in the sport.
Yeah, no, look, yeah, look, it all happened so fast as well. I was gonna do the elites and the 22s again this year, but look, been around pros since I started into a pro gym, and once I got the right call and the right opportunity, right manager, I said, look, why not? Let's pull the trigger on this. You know what I mean? So why not?
Like it's not even obviously just this move to pro. Like, you know, for people that know you obviously know of sort of where you've come from, but like you're only boxing, in general, just over 4 years as well. And it's mad to think of the achievements you have within that time. Like, they always say sometimes that someone just is born to do something. Like it just seems that Kane, like the minute you put a set of boxing gloves on, that was your purpose in life was to be a boxer.
Uh, Most likely, I think like what's for you won't pass you by. But I remember was it nearly 5 years ago this summer I started in lockdown, and to be honest, like couldn't throw a straight jab. But I was tall, I was 17 years of age, I had a good heart, and he believed I could become something. You know what I mean? First round of pads, he said, "I believe you're going to become Irish champion." He goes, "I'm not too sure when, but he goes, you will become an Irish champion." And I took the belief, but I was never fighting before. I think there's a lot of trials and tribulations in life that makes you a fighter, and then it just happens that boxing came along, and now we're fighting for sport.
What got you into it first of all? Like were you always, were you always a boxing fan? Like what got you into boxing? Like was it just a case where you wrong place at the wrong time and someone got a hold of you and went, come on, you're going to the boxing gym? Like what got you into boxing?
To be honest, it was pretty much that. Look, really, I was playing soccer since a young age, and all my friends from my estate, from this council estate, all play soccer. And but there was one boxer in my estate, and I looked up to him very much as Kevin Sheehy, that passed away, an absolute legend around here. When I think back, he was the person that I really looked up to, and I just the respect that he had of everyone is like that's who I wanted to be. I wanted to be someone like him. I always said if I became half the man he was, I'd be very happy with that. And then it just roller coasted on to you're fighting in a box cup, you're fighting in the All Irelands, becoming an Irish champion, then fighting for Ireland, and it just like everything happened so fast. But when I bring it down to the narrative of it, it was looking at Kevin wanting to be someone you could wanted to have respect off everyone. I wanted a place of belongings, and boxing is where it was. I never knew and I never believed it either. So I just thought I'll have one or two few fights, and that'll do. Everyone know around that I can fight and hold my ground. And next minute, I'm sitting here now. I'm turning over pro. It's just it happened so fast.
It's crazy to say how it goes. Like I'm sure a lot of the influence obviously you have, as the how it's got you to this part is obviously Martin Donovan, obviously Gugu.
Mm.
He sort of taught you everything there is sort of about boxing, in that short piece of time. Like, is it just the case that you were always naturally talented that he's seen it very quickly? Or was it just the case that Martin just brought you on very, very quickly?
A bit of both, I believe. I think there's a bit of both in that. Myself and Gugu, I think we just work very, very well together. The second we came in, we first round of pads we done, we took a bond to each other, and if the man told me run through a wall, I'd run through a wall. Really, do you know what I mean? And not only boxing. it was life as well. He teach a lot of things about life, and I believe I put my full trust. I put 100% in him the last 5 years, and look, it's got me very, very far. I'm known for boxing now. You know what I mean? Where before 17 years of age, running around the roads and doing what, getting up, probably getting up to no good at this stage, and then not doing well in school and the fucking around really. But now, Martin taught me how to grow up mature in 5 years. You know what I mean? And not only that, become a decent boxer as well at the same time. So I'm very blessed that our paths crossed, and I think it was always meant to happen.
That's what obviously boxing can do. Obviously, for everybody sort of out there, you don't have to be a super talent, but boxing, people say it many times. Boxing changes lives, and you're another testament to that. The fact boxing's changed your life and turned you from a boy into a man very quickly.
Yeah, look, who knows where you can end up, where I could end up, to be honest. Like, and at that time, 17 years of age, I was very lost. A few things happened personal, what I mean, with people and whatnot. And, at that time, I didn't know where I was really going with myself. And the fact that Martin Donovan, that we passed each other and we got to work every day in the gym, every day, 10 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't even going to school at this time. I was going to school, waiting for my mother to go on, and I bring my gear bag with me, and then not even a half hour in, I just ditched the school straight down to the boxing club and sit outside and wait. And that risk of not passing school, it was a big reward for me now today, becoming of a new life now over it. You know what I mean? And I just got so obsessed with boxing. I didn't want to miss it for diamonds. And then that's how I got on to meet Paddy and all the rest of them, and real close bond with them all. And and even Sean Kelly, Graham, Jamie, they were all in there at this time. Just a full room of pros, and I really felt at home inside there.
You've plenty of inspirational people. Obviously, the first and foremost, obviously Kevin was obviously has been a big inspiration for everybody. But when you have the likes of Jamie Morrissey, Graham McCormack, Sean Kelly, Paddy Donovan, the whole crowd down there in Limerick, even Lee Reeves and stuff as well. Everybody in
Mhm.
Limerick all wants everybody in Limerick to do well, and everybody's all got an inspirational story. Like Graham McCormack's story is probably the most inspirational of the lot, but like you've plenty of
Mhm.
people there that's been feeding you with good vibes and obviously only want you to do well. And that's probably how you've taken like a duck to water to boxing.
Yeah, look, I believe like we're really a close knit family. I've been to all the Graham's fight, Jamie's, you name them. Do you know what I mean? Look, we all look out for each other, and I think it's just the boxing. Putting the word boxing on it was very hard for me. It was like going away. It was like going into a family, man. It was really like being at home when I used to go into that gym. It was a real turn off. 10 o'clock in the morning and just turn off for 2 hours, sitting there sparring, taking lumps out of each other, and being absolute best mates. The best people I know has came through boxing, and I just don't know where I'd be today if it wasn't for that. If I didn't walk in, and I learned a lot. I learned, like, look at Graham. Graham's story alone will shock everyone, and no people don't understand what he's came through and the choices he came in life. So a young boy at 17, 18, being around that, being someone that can correct you and say, look, listen, this is where you need to be. You need to be in this boxing club. That's all I'm very, very blessed to have that.
Taking up the boxing, obviously, very late at 17. Like, did you feel like a pressure? Like, obviously, you won a box cup, you obviously won your first Irish title and things like that. Were you getting to the stage where you were going, this boxing game's too easy, or were you getting to the stage where you're going, I know defeat's around the corner because you've technically cheated the system in some ways because there's been people there a lot longer and stuff doing it. Like,
Hmm.
at what stage were you always sort of going, I'm going to have a hurdle here along the way. I'm going to have a slip up. Like, was that always in your mind that starting late that you were going to have them setbacks?
You know, I ne- when I start, Google would always say, you're the underdog. You've absolutely nothing to lose. You know what I mean? My first box cup, I came up against the Irish champion in my weight. And then when I went, then going into countless Irishes and all, he always made sure that I felt like the underdog. And I feel like I'm better when there's more pressure on me. When I got to recent success and had a few All Irelands and a few box cup gold medals in your back pocket, then the pressure, then it kind of came in a sense of, I'd finished, come back from the Europeans, and I did, and sometimes you were just, not that you were sick of it, but where you're nearly the best in your ways, and then it's very hard. I rather being a nobody, to be honest. And like with this switching the professional ranks now, I'm back. I'm a nobody right now. I'm no one knows. I'm 0-0. Do you know what I mean? This is where I need to be. I'm an underdog right now, and I need to work my way up all the way. And like just the way his mindset, Gugu's mindset of boxing was like train like a champion. You know what I mean? Live, eat, and breathe like a champion, and that's that. Always keeping my feet on the floor, and if I was ever doing so well, he'd always knock you back down to your feet, and that's what I liked about him. Every day you win an All Ireland on a Saturday, and you're back in the gym one day. Make sure you're doing. You made this mistake, you made that mistake, and so there was a lot of things. Everyone in the gym would always keep you on your feet because there's always someone that's fighting in the gym. So then you join their camp and you're back to square one then again. So that I always had a good level headed with it.
Do you look at the short time you've had as an amateur? Do you look at that at the course of, where you're saying it's now a reset and you're back to 0-0? Like that obviously it's going to lead, that's going to help you a lot, obviously, with the pros. Like, totally two different sports, amateur boxing, professional boxing, completely different sports. Like, we've seen people doing really well, haven't even boxed as an amateur. They maybe had white collar fights and then went pro, and because of that hunger and desire and determination is how they've achieved. Like, do you find these last near 5 years of being an amateur, do you find they're a big bonus for you now in turning pro?
Yeah, look, I think I was always in the pro setting. It was actually very hard to box as an amateur in the pro setting, if you understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Always sparring 6 rounds. Like, this is all I know is the professional game. Realistically, I've been in the amateurs setup, and I was always being in the crossroads with it. Do you know? So this time this is where I want to be. I want to be in the pro. I want to fight. Do you know what I mean? And end of it all, I just want to be in the mix, fighting, and I want to win. And that's that. That's every fighter. They just you want to go in there to win. You want big fights, big nights for your city, and that'll drive it on more for me. Do you know? I just don't. There is pressure, of course, now that you've come through a bit of amateur credentials. But look, you need pressure because that's how you're sharp. You need to feel nervous, excited. You need to feel all these things.
As Paddy Donovan says, pressure makes diamonds.
And he is the absolute pinnacle of that sentence because he's a showmaker. Realistically, you look at him, I never seen a man like him. He's different breed.
Did you? I guess, like, for you, Sam, you're always destined to go to the pros. When you're in association with so many pros, like, you probably had more friends at professional boxers than amateur boxers. So, like, nearly when you're around amateur boxing, did you nearly feel as if you were with the wrong crowd? Sort of, you're going, I'm mates with all these pros, but here I'm at an amateur thing where nobody really knows me. You sort of came from a nobody to winning Irish titles very, very quickly, and you're going, am I in the wrong room here as the professionals next door?
You know, I probably would have felt that up the high performance setup as well. It's like not a lot in common. Realistically, I'm in a pro gym, they're in an amateur gym, and they're two different sports, and to see different eye to eye. You know what I mean? The amateur setup doesn't really like. I believe don't really like the pro setup. What are you gonna do? Go and sell tickets, and then the pro is they're looking at it's very different. It's legacy. It's big nights, big fights. It's prize fighting. You're going to put money in your back pocket. Do you know what I mean? It's two different views, and having to see the world of two of them is absolutely brilliant. And don't get me wrong, I think any boy that comes into boxing right now, any young boy, I always tell them, go in there, do your amateur work, see, get your credentials, go to the All Irelands, do your counties and stuff. You know what I mean? But look, as I said, just everyone has different paths on where they end up, and mine was just an odd path. So delighted.
Um, what changed for you, Kian? Obviously, the fact you're always sort of destined to go pro. Was it the under 22s where with obviously all the controversy where if you were drawing Russia you couldn't fight? Was that the sort of head turner for you then, or
I
I
think
guess it was hard to sort of come back from when that happens, isn't it? The politics involved in the sport.
it was very very hard that time because I trained so hard for that fight, for that Europeans. I really thought I was at my best at that Europeans in Montenegro, and then getting told I weren't allowed to fight, and then the rule was dropped like a week later was very, very heartbreaking. And to be honest, I didn't want nothing got to do with boxing after that. I think then I said, look, I kind of made a mend with it, and I said, look, I'm going to make sure I'm going to the next Europeans, end of. And that I did, and I went down, won the 22s again, and went to the Europeans in Sofia. And when I was beating Sofia, I felt like that was the end of the road for me in the amateurs. Just because I've been there, I've done that. I've got to see what the Europeans was all about. I got to fight in the Europeans because if I fought in the Montenegro one, I was going pro after that. So I waited out another year, and then after the Europeans last year, I was just I came up against a very good lad, a lad that medalled, and a numerous medaler. And when I was beat, that took a lot of sting out of it. That took a lot out of me then for the amateur game. I just thought that was it, and I want to move forward. And I went down and done the elites. That was probably the most pinnacle point where I actually wanted to walk away from boxing at that time. A week later, done the elites, was beaten 3-2, and I just thought, is this really for me? So I took a lot of time thinking. That was November time, and we're here now, and I'm only having a fight next month. So a lot of time to think in that, and to what do I really want? Do I want to go again for the elites and go to the Europeans, or do I want to go and start making a name for myself in the pro ranks and start putting money in my pocket too? Because when you're in that high performance setup and you're not a middler, you're not on that Olympic team, you're not getting paid. And it's very, very hard to skip work and stop working to go up and to have not the show for it as well. Struggling with bills when you're coming down home. So I just said, look, I'm a fighter. I'm doing the 6 rounds. I'm training with the pros anyway. So why not go and get paid for it?
Exactly. Yeah, that's the mentality they have. At the end of the day, you could be the most talented person in the world, but if you've no money, they come behind you and your bills and things like that, they pay. You have to go, have to look after number one and have to look after myself. And you're you're
Mm.
you're now in you're now in the destiny of your own dreams, and where you go to in the sport is all down to you, and it's not down to getting picked for a team and in certain areas and maybe having to look for things. So everything's now in your destiny. Um, where did the first sign just sort of coming pro? Like, how did Jay Quigley and Sheer Sports land your signature? Because was it sort of was he down in Andy Lee's gym and he was like watching you spar and was like, I'm signing you. Like, how did that come about?
He was watching all right. Believe it or not, we actually I was gone with an international with Ireland in Netherlands, and I got a phone call off Andy, and he asked would I come back and help sparring with Jason for his fight against Berlinga. So I came back. I was up for 2 weeks sparring him for the Berlinga fight, and we came very close from there on, and a lot of rounds and stuff, and he always kind of kept tabs on me after that. Then, and as I was going on, I got a few offers and whatnot, but nothing that I felt that I could trust. You know what I mean? Because boxing is a business. At the end of the day, pro boxing is a business. But when it came to it, and Jason offered after the Ben Whittaker spar, I just thought this is it now. If I can trust anyone, it's Jason. He's been there, done that, wore the shirt. I've been in the ring with him myself. He's been at the high level. He's fought for world titles. He knows the game better than anyone else. And if I need anyone to manage me, it can be him. You know what I mean?
Somebody that's been there and done it. Like, or do you still pinch yourself at the moments? Like you just been sparring Hamzah Sheeraz today. You've been sparring Ben Whittaker. You've sparred Jason Quigley. Like, you're sparring the very best. Like, and that brings you on to be the very best. Like, they always say if you want to be the best, you always have to challenge yourself against the best. Like, are you pinching yourself still at these moments, Kian, or has it just become accustomed to you now?
Do you know, I still don't believe it myself. I think sometimes when I'm coming down the road and Google saying like, "Look who you're sparring," you know what I mean? Look who you're sparring. Been in there with all them lads that I'd be watching on telly, thinking, "Man, I'm just after doing such a rounds with them." And I wouldn't, in my honest opinion, I'm not the most talented, not the most skill wise. Do you know what I mean? I'm not the biggest banger, but there's something more that's getting me them opportunities, and I think of a very good heart. I think I can be a menace for anyone, and then that's for anyone in the pro game. I believe I'm going to be a menace when I get this really under my wing, and I really get the right fights, the right place and time, and get my proper experience. I believe I'm going to be a menace for absolutely anyone. So I don't know what it is. I think it's bigger than boxing. I think it's the heart I have is that I'm willing to win. I'm willing to learn. So yeah, man. It's like we're after doing 10 rounds with Hamzah Sheeraz in the last 3 days. You know, what better sparring you're gonna get in the country right now?
Definitely, very much agree. Like to think, like just over 4 weeks to go, Pearse Stadium in Galway. Like, do you think of making a debut? Like, you couldn't have probably. There's probably different venues. Maybe you'll say that were you to pick maybe in Limerick or something like that. But like, do you think of you're fighting in an outdoor arena, your first fight
Mm.
as a pro? Like, can it get much better than that for you, Kian?
No, no way. Look, an hour down the road, the whole like I'm gonna have good backing. Limerick's gonna come down, show the sport like they do when I'm up in the National Stadium, and I believe this is it now. And I real heart and grit for this fight now. Honest to God, look, I got 5 weeks notice to say I'm fighting on this fight. It didn't matter if I was fighting tomorrow. I was gonna make sure I was there anyway. You know, I really just can't wait to be in that ring and fight. Let my hands off. Do you know what I mean? Or either be in a fight. I want to show my class too. I believe I have a bit of class as well. So I just can't wait to be in the ring and give these nights to Limerick people that are coming down, these working class people that are spending their hard earned money. And maybe one day have my own Limerick homecoming.
That's what I was going to sort of touch on next. Like, where do you reset your goals? Like, you're probably not going to want to go. If I know you well enough already, you probably won't be dreaming too far ahead in the future. Like, where do you sort of set like short and medium sort of goals? Obviously, I guess you're always going to have your long term goals, but you want to sort of hit your small goals first before you hit your bigger ones.
Yeah, look, step by step, really, every day, you take it as it comes. Realistic, get my debut out of the way, number one. Then we're going to move forward. We're going to have a good chat with Quigley and see what's next and build as a fighter. Get the experience, get the rounds underneath my belt. But really and surely, I do want to have a homecoming in Limerick one day, very soon. Probably in the next coming years, in the next 2 3 years, I'd like to have a good homecoming in Limerick City. You know what I mean? I think this is what the city needs, and I think there's no better man to give it.
You've obviously you've very good competition there, and obviously Paddy, obviously in the region as well. Like, I
Oh
remember
yeah.
I remember speaking to Graham McCormack a couple of years ago, and even Jamie and stuff as well. And you're sort of going like, Limerick deserves, a big homecoming for all its fighters. Even there's obviously fighters that no longer fight and stuff as well. Like the history it's there. We came so close with Andy Lee in Limerick quite a few years ago with the Billy Joe Saunders fight. Like, something needs to give, whether it's government or something like that needs to get involved, and people in the area need to they bring Limerick back as a city for boxing.
Like, let's be real, we probably have one of the best fighters, welterweights in the world right now in Paddy. Like, I think Limerick don't understand what talent we have here with Paddy Donovan. Give the man his own homecoming because he deserves it. He's proved it himself. He's been up to Crocker's back garden and give him a boxing lesson. So this is why haven't Paddy has one back down here. This is why we need a fight, a big fight in Limerick with Paddy all over it. Main event. You have other good boxers here. Lee Reeves, do you know what I mean? You have all the other pros, upcoming pros. Myself, John Ross O'Reilly, another pro as well. There's a lot more boxers coming as well. You've David Ryan. Give Limerick their homecoming because it won't. You've Edward Donovan, Jason Harty. There's too many pros here. Get the homecoming going.
And there's only going to be even more as it comes, because it's that express train that started. It's when you look back at like Andy Lee, or you look back at others, and now you see all these other ones coming through, but there's even more to come. Like, that conveyor belt's not stopping. There's going to be even more Limerick fighters turning pro.
Yeah, no, there is. There is. Look, it's a fighting city as well. Not only a hurling city, it's a fighting city. So I think it's only a matter of time before that happens, and I think it's going to happen in the next couple of years.
You were saying you're going to be a menace for people. Like, what can people expect out of your debut in 4 weeks' time? Like, I guess they're going to hear the noise. They're going to hear everybody out in the arena saying that they all know you personally and everything else. But what can people expect when they see you inside the ring, Kane?
Yeah, I'm gonna say both the best of both worlds. To be honest, look, I love fighting. I get given out too much for fighting, to be honest, and I love showing a bit of class as well. So you're gonna see the best of both worlds. To be honest, I don't really want to talk too much, and I just want to go in there and just show it. Do you know what I mean? Action speaks louder than words. So I just can't wait to step in the ring and let everyone see how it goes.
And you expect, obviously, being Limerick not too far away, you expect to sell quite a lot of tickets.
Yeah, no, I do. Look, I have great support down here, and I'm really my phone, since I put it out this morning, my phone's already blown up with tickets, about tickets. So to be honest, I can't wait. Limerick always draws a big crowd anywhere they go, so I'm looking forward to bring them on and give back to them as well for all their support.
And obviously, finally, probably the most important part, obviously, of helping you in your journey is obviously going to be sponsors. You maybe got sponsors lined up already. I know it's been a short turn since sort of turning over, but obviously you're out there, you're looking for sponsors. Anybody's obviously interested in getting behind the career, so obviously can get in touch with you on social media.
Yeah, please, on Facebook, Instagram, you name it. Thank you very much, and be muchly appreciated. And we can go on this journey together. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay, and listen, thanks very much for your time. Obviously, thanks for having a chat with me today. Obviously, I'll see you in just over a week, 4 weeks' time in Galway. And obviously, we'll get this journey on the road.
Thank you very much, brother, and God bless you.
Cheers, Kian. Take care.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye.